It is now my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker this afternoon, Epatha Merkerson. Epatha currently co-stars as hospital administrator Sarah Goodwin on Chicago Med. And yet, I bet some of you, many of you perhaps, recognize her as the shrewd and smart Lieutenant Anita Van Buren from the hit TV show Law & Order. Maybe you heard of it. Maybe you heard of it. It's a role that Epatha played for over 17 years, earning her the distinction of one of the longest-running characters of any primetime television show. But as you will shortly hear, Epatha is somebody of great warmth and who likes to keep it real. A child of Detroit, Epatha has spoken candidly of growing up during the Civil Rights Movement, of facing barriers as a black actor, and as embracing her mother's advice to judge people on the merits of who they are. She has also crafted a career which spans nearly 4 decades, and counting, that has skillfully traversed the canvas of theater, television, and film with equal success. Through her work as an actor, a director, producer, Epatha has earned enough awards to fill an immensely large mantle in her house, including a Golden Globe, an Emmy, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and 4 NAACP Image Awards. Epatha, we are delighted to welcome you here to Pittsburgh and share your words of wisdom with us today. But before we let you speak, we'd like to confer upon you an honor. So at this point, I would invite Epatha, Eva Tansky-Bloom, Chair of the University's Board of Trustees, Patricia Beeson, our Provost and Senior Vice Chancellor, and Art Levine, Senior Vice Chancellor for the Health Sciences, to join me at the podium. You don't have to sing for this one, Epatha. Today, my colleagues and I have the unique opportunity to confer our institution's highest distinction upon an individual who embodies our university's ideals of academic excellence, principled commitment, and purposeful engagement. It is our great privilege to recognize Epatha Merkerson as an individual who exemplifies each of these qualities. Epatha, on this 30th day of April 2017, we recognize your outstanding contributions, commitments, and distinguished service in the field of performing arts. With deep gratitude for all the ways in which your life's work has stirred others to action and understanding, and in acknowledgement of your remarkable contributions to fine arts, we hereby confer upon you, Epatha Merkerson, the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa, from the University of Pittsburgh, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Epatha Merkerson.
I've got my iPad. I'm going to do this with the iPad. I'm in the 21st century. Okay, act right. Okay. What an amazing honor this is for me to be with you this afternoon. Thank you, Chancellor Gallagher, to Eva Bloom, the chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Kathy Humphrey. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. Provost Patty Beeson, distinguished faculty, my dear friend and homie, wherever she is, Jerry Allen, who's professor of jazz studies here at Pitt. And I want to say a special thank you to all the parents who are here today because of all the work that you've done and the dreams that you've had for your children, and here they are today. Congratulations to you. And then I just want to bring it on down to all the students, just say holla. Because this is an amazing day for you. It's the end of the time you'll be sheltered by school, but it's also the beginning of so many incredible new experiences for you. And I just want you to know and trust that life can be a little messy sometimes. It's unpredictable with stops and starts, career issues, relationships, and all of these events will ultimately define who you are. But I gotta share a little story with you. And it's about my mother. And this is the condensed version because she just turned 90, okay? But I'm gonna start when she was born in 1926 in a small rural town north of Baton Rouge in Louisiana. And she had to leave home because there wasn't a high school in her area that Black children could attend. Condensed version, now I'm moving to she's 25. By the time she's 25, she's had 5 children. I'm the last of the 5. And by the time I was 4, she was a single parent. So needless to say, everything my mother dreamed of had to be put aside. But my mother, Epatha Merkerson, is not a run-of-the-mill person. She may be a late bloomer, but never run-of-the-mill. So after she retires, I'm gonna remind you, I'm condensing because we've gone from that to retirement. After she retires, she begins talking about all these secret desires that she had, all those things she wanted to do. And I think for a while, she didn't have the courage. She lacked the courage. But at 76, my mother enrolled at Madonna University for a 4-year program in American Sign Language so she could be a part of that ministry in her church. And I'm going to tell you, listen, I'm going to tell you, that day my mother graduated, she was the oldest graduate in her class, and we were up in the balcony, and we screamed so loud when we heard her name. It was a most incredible day to see my mother walk and get her diploma. But there was always one thing in particular she talked about, more than any other. She always wanted to go skydiving. And about 6 or 7 years ago, she made it a point to do just that. Let me tell you the story. My siblings were really angry with me because I encouraged her. I was like, hey, Ma, do what you told us to do. You said if you research it and you know what you're doing, I said find the place that has that flawless safety record. And if you do all of that, I'll pay for it. So my best friend volunteered to go with her on the jump, but like the week before we were supposed to leave for Detroit, which is where I'm from, all right, in the house, some knucklehead sent him this video. I don't know if any of you have seen this on the internet. It's this 80-year-old woman. She's doing it for her birthday. She gets up there. She changes her mind. She's holding on. The guy keeps moving her hands. He's moving her hands. And then he jumps over her, which takes her out of her harness. She made it safely. But as Van Buren, I would have arrested him. So he decides he's not going to jump. We call my mother, and to our amazement, she had seen the video and was not deterred. So the day, let me find my little note. I got my little note. On the day we drove to the jump, it was about an hour and a half out of Detroit. We arrived at this tiny place, and I'm sure it wasn't an airport. I think it was just a landing strip. There was one pilot, 3 instructors, and there were 5 other students, jumpers, aside from my mother. So there were 6 of them. And as they got the instructions, I was struck by how calm my mother was. The other jumpers were giggly and nervous, but my mother was like uber relaxed. And they gear up, and I watch as my mother heads to this plane, and right before she climbs on the plane, she turns around, gives us this big grin and the thumbs up. So the plane taxis, it goes up. Now here's the most uncomfortable moment for us. It's when the plane disappears in the clouds, and all you hear is the engine. You don't see anything. And I'm thinking, my 85-year-old mother is getting ready to jump out of a plane that's going to ascend to at least 13,000 feet. And I paid for it. So all of a sudden, we see this little speck in the sky. I don't know if any of you have gone skydiving or watched someone. Yeah? It's crazy, right? So you see this speck, and then little by little, you see a more, and then the chute opens, and she's whisked back up into the sky, and then it's like, and the chute, the inside of the chute was red. And my mother had insisted that I bring 5 red Law and Order t-shirts for all of us to wear. So she matched the chute. So what I realized at one point too is that the instructor had given her the reins, so she was actually steering it. It was a little wobbly at first. Ooh, that camera cost a lot of money, child. It was a little wobbly at first, but then there she was, like steering the chute and descending like a bird. And when I saw her face, it was a moment, I tell you, I will never forget. There was a sense of accomplishment, a sense of peace, of fulfillment, of wonderment, of awe. But I also noticed that as she was descending, she was signing and she was singing. And when she landed ever so gracefully with her tandem instructor, I said, "Ma, what were you singing?" "I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world." So, but wait. Why am I telling you this story? And this is the disclaimer part. I want you to hear this is a metaphor. Sometimes in life, we need to take a page from my mother's book and jump out of the plane. You know, you have to take chances. You have to throw caution to the wind. Believe in yourself. Know you're capable. Never settle in. Go for broke. Be energized. Challenge yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. Jump out of the plane. That afternoon that I watched my mother sail through the sky, the lesson I learned was to never give up on your dreams. Hold fast to your dreams. And when you're ready, jump out of the plane. Congratulations, and good luck to you.